So you're probably clicking on this video because you're wondering the actual difference between using Udi and Toy. The short answer, no clickbait, just use Udi. It's going to be perfect in 99% of situations and probably 100% of situations that you as a Korean learner are going to find yourself in. So if you're still watching, it means you want to know that 1% situation. Let's talk about that in detail then. So first of all, what is 저희? This word is a combination of 저, which is humble speech, it means I or me, and he, which is a plural suffix. So basically, plural me's, plural humble me's. Now, humble speech is used when the speaker is essentially like lowering themselves down to whoever they're talking about. So it's kind of like saying, oh, little old me, I'm nothing, you're so great, you're so wonderful. And you're doing it by like, lowering yourself down. So they call it humble speech because you're being extra humble. It's kind of like saying, oh, me, I'm not worthy. I am your humble servant. Not quite that exaggerated, but you get the idea, hopefully. And there isn't actually too much you have to worry about for humble speech. There's not too many verbs you have to learn or anything. The most common one is really just 드리다. 드리다 is the humble version of the verb 주다, meaning to give. So if you give someone something with 드리다, it kind of has the feeling that you're offering it up to them instead of just like, here you go. It's like, here, sir. So yeah, if you're using 저, it's kind of like I lowering myself to you. But even though that might seem a bit excessive, that is the default because the other option, 나, for I, doesn't lower yourself at all. It's basically like, hey, we are on the same playing field. We're not so different, you and I. Kind of like that. So again, 저희, 저, humble, and he, plural. So it's kind of like we're all lowering ourselves down a little bit. Let me just clean this up a little bit. 우리, on the other hand, does not lower the people that you're talking with because it doesn't have any sort of extra humble speech attached. It's just like, hey, we. Now, you might think that that's rude because if you were to use 나 in a situation where you're speaking politely, it could be a bit rude, but 우리, on the other hand, doesn't have any sort of like, hey, I don't consider you better than me or worse. It's pretty default. It's like just we. I'm not being extra polite, but I'm not going to be rude. So because of that, 저희 is used when you want to be extra polite. Funnily enough, that's actually much less common than 우리. Now, again, 저 is extremely common for I or me. That's the one you want to use for most situations except for your closest friends. But 저희, with a plural marker, is less commonly used. And it has to do with the fact that it's a plural. And we'll talk exactly about that. But first, if you want to be default polite, just use 우리, as I said in the very beginning. You're fine. 99% of any situation, you're just going to be using 우리. But if you want to be extra polite, again, remember, because 저희 is like, then use 저희. Simple. So then what is that 1% when you use 저희? Companies will use 저희 quite frequently to their clients because the company might be talking about themselves and they are lowering themselves to the client. Like if you were to say 저희 회사에서, so at our company, it's kind of like saying here at our company, which is worthless when compared to you, my lord. It has that lowering feeling to it that makes it sound extra polite, and you probably wouldn't use this regularly, but if you needed to sound extra polite, then yes, you would. 저희 이제 준비 다 됐습니다. So we are now finished preparing. So you're gonna hear this for workers to their customers, business conversations, in speeches like that. Otherwise, if you didn't use 저희 in these situations, it can, yes, sound a bit rude. Not because 우리 is rude, but because in those situations when you're trying to really lower yourself, you're trying to really look humble, like to an important client, then not being as polite as you can by using 저희 would sound like it's not polite enough. So anytime a group of people wants to impress another person or another group, then you can use 저희. Again, it's like we as a group lower ourselves to you, we respect you. But there's another question that I also get sometimes, and that is, what if you're saying we or us and you mean to include the listener? So you're saying not just like we, me and my friends, but not you, but you're saying like, we, like you and I, we. Then which one can you use? So this is a bit technical, but if you're still watching it, this is why you're watching the video, I'm sure. Toy is what's known as exclusive, whereas 우리 can be inclusive or exclusive. So what does that mean? So because Toy is humble, technically this would not be including the listener, because you would not be lowering the listener if you are saying, hey, let us do this, or we will do this tomorrow. You wouldn't be forcefully lowering the listener. That's your job. That's what you can do, is lower yourself, but you wouldn't be doing that for other people. So because of that, toy is only exclusive. You could not use it when you're talking about the listener. That's not to say you can never use humble speech when talking about someone else. It does get a little bit technical. There are some exceptions, like if a parent is talking to their child and telling the child to lower themselves and give a gift to their teacher, that could work. But again, the basic principle still applies. Humble speech is still the person doing something, the person who you're talking about. They are lowering themselves to someone else. So you typically will not ever do that for someone else, except in that one example I gave you. However, 우리 can be either. You can use it to talk about me and someone else, not you, or you could use it to talk about me and you, because you're included in it, because it doesn't have that lowering effect. Okay, here are two examples. The first one is inclusive. So this is including the listener. 우리 밥 먹으러 가자. So let's go eat a meal. 우리, you and I, us. 우리 밥 먹으러 가자. Hey, let's go eat something. Whereas the second example is exclusive. It does not include the listener. 우리는, as in me and other people with me, 우리는 밥 먹으러 갈 건데. So hey, a few of us, we're gonna go get together and have lunch. 너는? What about you? You wanna come join us? In short, if you want to include the listener, you're supposed to use 우리. And if you don't need to include the listener and you wanna be extra polite, then use 저희. Now, there are a couple exceptions. You knew this lesson would be more complicated than the title suggested. Words that have 우리 in them already without a space, specifically these two, 우리나라. This doesn't mean our country because it's written in one word. It actually means just Korea, 우리나라, or 우리말, which is Korean, not 우리의 말. It's not like our words, it's just the Korean language. So these are exceptions. Don't ever do 저희 나라, because 저희 나라, it would literally then just mean 저희, like our country. And in that case, you're actually kind of like putting it down, because it's like our worthless country, our worthless language is kind of what it would sound like if you were to use 저희, because again, it's like lowering everyone in the group. But that's pretty much it. Oh, no, there is one more exception. You'll hear Koreans sometimes use 저희, including the listener, or they'll use it when it doesn't really need to be used, like it's a little bit overly polite. Basically, it can get used just as an extra polite version of 우리. Basically, don't stress. Just use 우리. But if you're in a business situation, you're trying to impress a client, then you can use 저희. So, did you already know this? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions for future episodes in this series, also let me know in the comments. And I will see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.